the people who know they're not God, who show reverence before a power bigger than themselves, like those people are on our side. That's how I personally feel. And I think you need to believe in Jesus. I think that. Okay. I had an experience of this. Is like, I'm sure will offend a lot of people, but it's real. I was flying to the Middle East recently, and I was on one of those planes with the double-decker planes, A380s, I think, what a big plane. And it's like everyone's asleep or whatever on the plane. And there's like that little bar area is like an open area. And there's a guy, he looked to be South Asian, looked Pakistani to me, but maybe not. Had to be 70 years old. And he's got his prayer mat out and he's praying. There's no one around and he's praying in the middle of the flight and everyone's asleep. And I've never been particularly pro-Islam. In fact, I was very anti-Islam for a long time. And I thought to myself, I'm not a Muslim, but a guy who's taking time out in the middle of a flight when everyone's asleep to acknowledge that he's not God and bow before his God. I don't think that man's my enemy on a deep level. I just don't. I'm sorry. Call me like a tool of Muhammad or something. I'm not. I'm a Christian. But like, how is that guy my enemy? He's a massive improvement over everyone in DC who thinks they're God. Mm-hmm. Like, I do think that. I'm sorry. I do. There's something about the humility of acknowledging I'm not in charge. I can't see the future. I'm totally imperfect. That is the most important thing. And that's how I kind of see the spiritual divide. The church is collapsing into absurdity. Church leaders, not all, but a lot of them are totally corrupt. I don't know what's going on with the Pope. I'm not Catholic, so I'm not going to comment on that. But like, whoa, doesn't look like Christianity to me.
It's another symbol.
There's something going on. And of course, that's the way God works. You know, evil is not unchallenged. Clearly, we're under the oppression of evil, trying to hurt people for the sake of hurting people. So as that stuff rises in power, so does God, who's more powerful. And I know how the story ends. He wins. You thought some politician was going to save you? Are you worshiping people now? You don't worship people. Yeah. They're people. No one's going to save you in this life. That's a lie. And by the way, shame on you for believing it, you fool. And we're like shocked. I can't believe it that our stupid post-war materialist theology turned out to be fake. Who could have guessed?
Yeah.
I mean, I stopped going to church during COVID for that exact reason, when the priestess at our church was like, which is itself like nuts, but whatever. The denomination I grew up in was nuts. I didn't quite realize how nuts until COVID. And then the rector of the church is like, well, we can't have services because I'm afraid of getting COVID and dying. And it's like, you're afraid of dying? Really? You're afraid. Their whole religion was not to be afraid of dying. Like the whole point of our religion. But I remember being so shocked by that. And I went home and said to my wife, I was like, we're not going to church again. This chick says she's afraid of dying. I was like, what? And we were both like almost because we really did grow up in this church. And I was like, we were both so shocked.